Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the House of Kayfabe here on YouTube. I am Adam Harris, joined by the wonderful and fabulous Matt Mullins and the other Steve Barker. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about SummerSlam 2022. We just watched the first Raw, the go-home show to SummerSlam, the first Raw with no Vince in the backstage area. Historical, guys. We got to talk about this. Steve, what were you thinking going into tonight's Raw?
Man, death, taxes, and Vince McMahon. I thought those were the things that were the three inevitables in this world. I thought that Vince McMahon was going to die in a well-appointed office, sitting behind a big oak desk waiting for his next meeting. And how appropriate. It's like, I know they didn't plan it because this all seemed very thrown together with him getting retired, being retired, let's be honest. And it's at Madison Square Garden, where he's, the seat of power, which is what Paul Heyman mentioned, because Paul Heyman is the goddamn genius of promoing. Man, it was strange. And Adam, I know you watched it, Matt didn't. Did it feel like, or am I projecting? Do you think it felt like Triple H was like, okay, we're going to beat the dog shit out of Theory. We're going to cuck him. We're going to say your daddy's not here anymore. And then like 7 people are going to beat the fuck out of you.
Well, I made a couple notes here, but I want to know what Matt has been thinking, even though he didn't get to watch the whole entire show tonight. Matt, I want to get your initial thoughts on if you thought anything would be different about Monday Night Raw.
I was interested. I knew something would be different. I was interested to see how they would address it if Triple H would dress like Vince, a la Attitude Era, come out and say, "I'm fired."
I never saw it coming. Looking in the mirror, I'm fired.
And then in Vince makeup, make out with Stephanie is really what
God.
Hey, man.
I was thinking bring back Commissioner Foley for one last bedpan to the head.
Well, Matt's not too far off. Remember, Vince wanted to do an incest angle back in the day. You know what I mean?
Let's not go there. Do we have to? We better not. This is going to be a short episode.
That's what we can talk about. Like, are we going to not see all that balderdash and falderall? Are we not going to see this stuff? We're not going to see poop humor. We're not going to see farts. We're not going to see the childish shit that Vince brought.
Right? when the trial of Vince McMahon happens and they call the key witness, which is the Mae Young hand, I don't know, man. It's a wild time. I think it's probably the most exciting thing that could happen for WWE to not have Vince. I'm real interested to see what happens to Mr. Bruce Pritchard. I'm wearing a Something to Wrestle With t-shirt.
I hope we get to talk about that too, because there's something that was brought up in the very first segment that I watched that I think we want to talk about. I do want to say I made a couple notes during Raw, and I don't know if you guys will agree with this or not, but I have a list of the things that I noticed were different without Vince. Do you guys want to hear it?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay, here it goes. That was the list.
We didn't hear
I think
wrestling.
It was still, some questionable booking, a little bit of leaning on Roman Reigns, though. But in all seriousness, though, I did mention when Roman Reigns came out and looked Theory in the eye and said, "Daddy's not here." To me, that was a Bruce Pritchard line. I don't know why, but initially I thought, is Bruce still around? Like, I think we have to figure out, because that to me, just for some reason, strikes me as a Bruce.
Now, we know that Pritchard and Triple H don't get along, right? That's what that is the rumor, the rumor mill, as they say. We know apparently that he doesn't like Kevin Dunn. Raw could ended up looking, both shows could end up looking very differently.
Well, and we should talk about that too, because Kevin Dunn, is he out yet? Because tonight's show was cut, pretty good. It didn't seem as jarring as it normally is. I feel like somebody might have actually wanted to show what they were doing behind the director scene, that was something I thought I made a note of too, is like, what's Kevin Dunn doing right now? And is it directing Raw? I wasn't sure.
Worried about the SEC bringing him up on charges is what he should be worried about.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. The one thing I did notice is once we finally got to a match, which this took forever to get through, it went from the Usos to Theory, and then to Lashley came out, and Sheamus then came out, which brought Drew out, and then it ended up in a tag match, which then after the end, after they'd beaten Theory a little bit, they decided to give him one more shot, brought the Usos back out and knocked Theory down once again,
And not only beat him, they beat him like, what was that guy's name that shot on Kurt Angle? And then he went into the Royal Rumble. Was it Daniel Prater?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Remember the beating that Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero and I can't remember who else that they gave him at the Royal Rumble after he shot on Kurt Angle on, was it NXT at the time, or was it?
I think it was Tough Enough.
Tough Enough, right? Dude, it was like that. Matt Mullins. There was a shot, because Drew and Sheamus are in a blood feud, goes back centuries with their people, and there's a shot of Drew laying a big show hand on his chest, and even his partner was like, "Oh damn!" Like it was, you could tell they were all in on this, and I'm pretty sure like Sheamus kind of punked him out too, beat him like they were putting him in a gang. I think that was a big old like this. We all know what Vince was going to do. He was going to shove this guy down your throat, and Triple H. I like Triple H more as a booker than I ever did as a wrestler. Because I think Adam will agree with me. When he had NXT hot, it was like the best promotion going.
No question. And we'll see if that's what actually ends up happening again. It'll take some time, though. But I'm just curious if Matt thinks that all of this burying of Theory could still lead to the obvious, which is this Saturday at SummerSlam.
I have a hard time buying, even though that Vince is gone, that they're just going to throw Austin Theory to the side. He looks like $1 million. He still works. I'm thinking that they're putting the strap on him.
Man, do we want to get into the SummerSlam then?
Well, that was just a preview, I think, because we're going to get to talk about Theory again, too. And, of course, Roman comes back out, for the main event on tonight's match. So we've got a lot of Roman Reigns to talk about. But one thing I did notice, and this was the smallest thing, and this was the actual list of things I noticed without Vince there, but they mentioned the name of a referee during the match. And I don't think that happens very often anymore. And I just
JBL used to call the one. He used to call him #hardbodyref
here and there. Yeah, it would happen. But as far as like by the name, I don't know the last time, and I didn't even write the name down. I just made a note that was something that jumped out at me because they very rarely will mention the referees' names, and that seems like a Vince thing.
I think that they wouldn't want to give us whiplash. I think that it's going to be a gradual. Because I think once we hear wrestler and wrestling again, because man, AEW is for all their negatives, all their cons, they still call wrestling. Wrestlers
they also said
wrestling.
They were in the Madison Square Garden, which was the mecca of sports entertainment and combat sports, they said, which was almost like an acknowledgement. And that was the other thing I noted. And then the next thing that came up was a preview of things to come. But Rey Mysterio drives himself up to the arena, hops out of the driver's seat. I was expecting a driver to get out,
He's he's a hardworking family man. He's with the kids.
He drives in his mask. Is that what his license looks like?
I hope it does.
When Rey goes to the DMV, he's like, hold on a second. 20 years of Rey Mysterio. What do you guys think about that?
Man, I love Rey with all my heart. I fucking hate the 619. I think it's the dumbest move in wrestling. I can't stand it. I know it's over, but I hate that move.
Got a gaga move though. I mean, everybody's got one fucking gaga thing. Yeah, so I mean, that's Rey's whatever.
It's
huge pop every time. And usually he gets to tease it a couple times, which means you get 2 or 3 good pops out of it. Then what happened? I think he came out for the celebration after that, and they brought back some of his family members we hadn't seen on television for a second. And they had Rhea Ripley interrupt the party backstage. There were no wrestlers whatsoever besides and Rey Mysterio's family. Dom is there, and they had Rhea Ripley interrupt the party. And then they had, is it Aaliyah, Ray's daughter, who was on TV, in a love story with Buddy Murphy, by the way.
Oh God,
Sayonara, Vince. She's back on television and stepped up to Rhea Ripley for a second there. And it was totally scripted and bad. It should have been like, hey, bitch, don't interrupt my dad's party. Like, what the TF? But it was like, hey, just like totally scripted. You had a moment to make her right there, like at least have her stand up for a second, instead it was like the scripted soap opera thing. I was disappointed by that.
You think that Bruce is back there like, say, I don't think so.
That's how women talk, right?
They threw to Alexa Bliss next, who said she is ready to be back on top. Is she a Triple H girl, you think?
I think so.
Is Trips a Alexa Bliss guy?
I mean, did you not think of that the whole time we were watching? Was like, who's Triple H's guys? And the thing is, a lot of them are in AEW. A lot of them are fucking gone.
I wonder what he's going to do about the women's division. I feel like he was a big Asuka believer. Some of the women that are running things now, the Baileys, formerly Sasha's and Charlotte's, I feel like we're part of his run through NXT.
He had Asuka hot in NXT, man. She was the bomb down there. Yeah. I mean, he had think about it. Think about how many people he had bumping in NXT, and they just went to the main roster, and it's Butch now. It's Gunther, which I know. I get Walter was Triple H time too at the beginning, because I'm pretty sure Triple H and my guy William Regal was the reason they have a UK title. And then again, like half of his boys are gone. They're in AEW. Adam Page, you know what I mean? Or yeah, is that right? Yeah.
So they brought Alexa Bliss out against Doudrop, who is somebody I'm high on. I like Doudrop. Been watching her ever since the Mae Young challenge, and they're making her look tough. She hasn't, she still got beat 1, 2, 3. Had a good showing at Money in the Bank, though. I feel like, I still feel like there's some potential there. They make her look good, I think, each time she's out there.
You mean when she got beat by the 5'1", 100-pound girl?
It has to be, the DDT. I'm not buying that. I was sad, but, they still made her look tough in the match, so I'll take that. They're calling her the Wrecking Machine, which I like.
She is.
What do you think about that? Isn't somebody else used to be known as the Wrecking Machine?
Wasn't our boy Bojack? Isn't he the dreadlocked something machine?
Wrecking Machine? Oh, maybe. We're gonna have to get back to you to that on a future episode of House of Kayfabe. Best wrecking machines. Maybe that'll be it. What about Jeff Paul here? Not Jeff Paul. Local West Virginia wrestler Logan Paul, who looks just like Jeff Paul. What about Impulsive TV here? I guess they had an opening segment. I missed the first couple minutes waiting for my sling to load. So they had something at the very top of the night. Steve, did you catch that?
They did. They did a recap of the Logan Paul Miz run in. Was it on SmackDown? I guess. I'm a little behind. And man, I gotta say this. I've got kids, and luckily they all hate the Pauls. Thank goodness. But I also teach other children, and I can tell you that they're the biggest fucking stars in the world, man. Logan Paul, and the other Paul, those guys are just money. And man, dude, that Logan Paul Miz pull apart looked real, because Logan Paul is a boxer, and he was a scholastic wrestler, if you will. And man, it looked real. Like, dude, remember when Austin got pushed by Mike Tyson and you were like, oh shit, this looks real? Now, this obviously isn't Mike Tyson, but when non-workers do brawls and aren't scared, they make it look good. That's the most believable I've seen Miz in a fight in his whole career. Logan Paul might make the Miz's career.
So my thing is, though, Logan Paul signed a contract with
for
WWE.
events, like it was basically like for some dates. It's not.
That's part of my beef with everything trying to be transparent. Which in world where in my wrestling world, we don't need full transparency. I don't know. I don't need to know that information, because that's going to make me think that Logan Paul wins over Miz every single time.
I like him better as a wrestler. I like him better as a wrestler than the Miz. His WrestleMania performance was phenomenal.
Miz is so fucking hateable, though. I mean, he's
hate
just
him. God, I hate him so much.
Well, and Graves, said something like, and they're going to settle the score, hopefully, this Saturday at SummerSlam. It's like, there will be a little bit more to this. I don't see this coming out clean one way or the other. Everybody will end up looking good. I think you got to give the win to Logan Paul, though. He didn't sign up, as you said, for limited dates to
lose.
take the L.
He ain't gonna come job. Are you kidding me?
And as we know, the Miz can lose as many matches as necessary, and he'll always have the heat. Just like Matt was saying,
just so fucking hateable.
I want to go back to the attack because, once again, the Judgment Day got the best of the Mysterios here, and they made it into a match, of course, for SummerSlam, into a tag match. But I think either Ray, but maybe Dominic is going to the Judgment Day. Thoughts? Man,
once Edge got beat out of Judgment Day, that shit stopped colder than cold for me. It feels thrown together like all of a sudden it's like, Finn Balor's now the guy. And
then they had Rhea Ripley had some health problems, although she came back tonight.
Yeah. I think it's dead. I think it's cold.
You don't think they're going to recruit some people still and maybe try to build up the faction?
I don't care. I mean, I guess like the best heel turn could be Dominic telling Ray that he knows Eddie's his real father. I mean, that would be like the best like heel heat you could get. Cause I'm sorry, that ain't Ray's kid. He's like 3 foot taller than he is. No way.
You don't know enough about genetics to speak about this. The question though for Matt though, man, what do you think? Would it be better to put? So let's just theorize. Would it be better to put Ray with the Judgment Day? Would that be the only way to get Dom over, or would you get Dom immediate heel heat if he were to join the Judgment Day? Go with Finn.
I think he has to go with Judgment Day because he's not a strong personality. He's not strong on the mic. He's not strong in the ring, which equals that's the equation for putting him in a stable where if he's going to grow, got to do something like that. I agree that Judgment Day, I hate that they didn't give it more time to mature with Edge.
Well, I mean, like if you do the rumor mill, they wanted to do some supernatural Bray Wyatt stuff, and Edge was no, I'm out, is what the rumor mill with the sheets say, and that's why he left so abruptly.
Unless you bring Vicky Guerrero back to manage.
Oh man, I'm all for it.
Then I'm in.
I love her. She's the best. She was such a good heel, man. Vicky's the best.
So in a previous House of Kayfabe episode, we said, why Rick, why? But we'll get back to Ric Flair in his last match probably soon. And I'm looking forward to watching that. But my next question is because it ended this Logan Paul and Miz segment. Why, Ciampa? Why? They said, he's been doing the bidding of the Miz in the last few weeks. And that's all the explanation we've ever been given for why the hell is one of the best NXT stars of all time, one of the best wrestlers, one of the best mat grapplers and brawlers and psychologists of all time, is just kind of randomly helping the Miz out.
Cause dude, it was almost like they did it on purpose. Tommaso Ciampa was over to the moon in NXT.
As a rib.
Daddy's home. Daddy's home. He had a gimmick with a title. Who makes a title a gimmick? And he did.
Got it over
like crazy. And dude, they just bring him up. And it was just like they were stomping on William Regal and Triple H and Shawn Michaels, because he's running a lot of shit down there too. It's like, y'all not want to make future stars? Like, and I know Ciampa's long in the tooth. I think he's up there, right? So, but man, so is Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley's 40 over. And he's as over as possible. People love Tommaso Ciampa. It's what we can hope going forward is that Triple H can right this ship, because man, WWE, except for their top guys, is boring, man. This is boring. At least AEW gives you shit to laugh at. There's nothing humorous about a 3-hour slog of a Raw these days.
I do have a feeling though that we're going to see the sand shift sooner than later. I think you're going to see a lot of crazy shit happen that we're going to be proud of with the WWE, because we've been. I mean, we love it so much is why we're so passionately hating it.
Exactly. But the thing is, like, dude, anything Roman Reigns does is some of the best wrestling that you can have.
Tremendous.
Like, dude, Paul Heyman tonight made me love wrestling. His mic went out
Tremendous.
for a second. And, you know, with all of these people, like going back, like Mysterio's daughter, with everybody just basically being bad local theater actors, they wouldn't know to improv because they don't have those skills. And Paul Heyman's like, I guess the sound guy's from New Jersey. And then he was like, you're going to be, and then he goes, you're going to be the second guy out the door.
You'll be the next one out the door.
Yeah, so they reference Vince being gone twice in the first segment, dude. And
which
like,
was great.
It's all good up there, but man, it's so fucking boring in the mid card. Like, dude, I don't care about Sheamus and Drew.
No.
I want Drew to get hot again and go back to the top again.
And the thing with Ciampa is too far gone for Triple H to do anything about it tonight. But I could see, you know, him wanting to put a stop to that and saying, okay, no. Here's what we'll do with Ciampa. Because just like he made that NXT title mean something, like give him the Intercontinental, give him the US, like let him make that mean something.
Dude, I'd
tell you
love
what, he might be long in the tooth, but he's got a couple good more years in him, especially if you're smart with his matches.
I'd love to see him feud with Walter or fucking Gunther. That'd be so fucking great, dude. Are you kidding me?
Well, so we'll get back to the card here because the Street Profits, I think, are top guys. They're going to be top guys. And so are the Usos, in my opinion. I think Usos will definitely be some of the greatest of all times. What did you think, Steve, of Jeff Jarrett stepping in here to exert his authority?
Adam Harris, I'm a simple man. And if Jeff Jarrett is on my TV, I pay attention, slap nuts. I fucking love Jeff Jarrett.
He looks good,
I
beefed
love
up
it.
there, dude.
He's shredded, dude. I saw like something came up on my Instagram. It was like Karen Angle, who's actually on Instagram, is Karen Angle still. Had a video of him walking across the weight room. Man, that 55-year-old man's shredded. I'm a simple man. Give me Jeff Jarrett and I'll pay tickets. That's it. That's bottom line. I don't care if he's got those stupid strike things. I don't care. Jeff Jarrett all day.
I saw that the WWE posted a thing that says "Don't tick me off." Is he saying?
Oh man,
I haven't heard him say that yet.
He didn't say that. All he said really was like, "Keep the peace, boys." And he left the promo, and then they started cutting each other's catchphrases at each other. But he came back and was like,
"I saw that they posted. He's with the Street Profits or whatever, and it says "Don't tick me off." And I was like, "Man, I'm fucking angry if they're not getting pissed."
They're TV 14 now. They can say piss now, right?
Yeah, it's
I don't think that's a real thing yet, but we'll get there on maybe in another episode once again. So they threw Dolph Ziggler and AJ together for this. I don't guess this really applies to SummerSlam, but like was Bobby Roode at a wedding or something? Like what happened?
I don't know. What, man?
The new Dirty Dogs, the new Rockers, the new Dirty Dogs next. Anyway, they fought Gable and Otis, and it was good actually. The crowd doesn't what Gable. I just want to point that out. Like he is so good on the mic, Gable. The crowd don't what him. You know, they whatted Theory, and it actually works, and Theory's making it work. They don't what Gable. I think that's how good he is. They highlighted those guys tonight, so I feel like there's definitely going to be more of Gable and Otis, even if it's, you know, just making other guys look good for now. So then the main event was Tez and Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins, the Street Profits versus Roman Reigns, along with Riddle in their corner against Reigns and the Usos. I thought this was a really good match. I get worn out with all the commercials during Raw, man. It's just like every break spot,
man,
so often.
That first tag match, first match of the night, I think it went through like 3 or 4.
At least 4 segments. It felt like it was so
brutal,
long.
man. Now, you know, I think that was a statement. I kind of forgot I actually made some notes about that too. The big statement was like, you come out, you go Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, you know, some of the best wrestling that you're ever going to see, bar none. And then they do like a fucking 35, 40-minute match that went through 3 or 4 breaks. I think that was a statement. Like, we're going to be wrestling here. We're going to be a little more wrestling, a little less talking.
I hope so.
I'm for it. Because they're wrestling. Because, man, you know, the wrestling is when it's good, it's good. When it's good, it's great, actually.
This match was great.
That Usos Street Profits match from the last pay-per-view, where
Tremendous.
they had dude. That's a man. If that's Adam, how is that not a 5-star match? You got to be shitting me. The Young Bucks get 5-star matches when they take shits, and these dudes blew the fucking house off and ruined the rest of the pay-per-view. Because everything after it was cold, because they blew it up, man. It was such a good match. I watched it the next day. When was the last time you watched a WWE match?
And go right back and watch it again. Yeah.
It never happens.
I agree. I don't care who gives it what stars. I thought it was great. You know, I don't pay attention to that stuff.
Wonderful.
This was a great match too, though. And, you know, Matt, do you think Montez Ford is a future world champion? Because, I mean, he looked like it in this match. He was bleeding all over the place.
150%. He looks like $1 million. He works like $1 million.
He got swag, man. He's fucking handsome. That dude is so goddamn good looking. Man, that dude is movie star. That guy's movie star looks, man.
I mean,
I think you could go ahead.
I think that the Street Profits days could be numbered because he's such a single star.
Mm-hmm. I don't blame him for getting to that, you know, as quick as possible. But man, it feels a little rushed to me. The Street Profits, although we've been seeing them since the pandemic, you know, they were all over the Thunderdome and those early empty arena matches. It was them every week. And because of that, though, I think they've paid their dues. And obviously, Ford is a star. He looked like $1 million. He looked at Reigns, you know, while Reigns was on the apron and said, "Acknowledge me," like this. You know, I was like, "Oh, baby." And Reigns, as far as I could tell, Reigns only took 2 moves in that match. That entire match, he only took 2 offensive moves, and he made them count. And one of them was like he missed the spear from Tez, and Tez hit like the blockbuster. You know, flipping over top and pulled him down. And you would have thought he had just hit him with like a direct pile drive and broke his spine.
Yep.
Reigns was laying there like dead. You know, he made that count. And I hope we get to see a few good Montez Ford, Roman Reigns matches in the future.
Well, you know, that's what I was thinking about during that Drew Sheamus thing. Like, and Bobby Lashley, man, people so love him. They want Bobby Lashley to be on top so badly. He's so over, and they've got some people still hot to come in after what happens at SummerSlam. We got some people to move up.
So they ended this match. I'm actually trying to think about the finish. The Bloodline won, right? But then Seth came out, right? And they had Seth do some business with Rollins. With Riddle. Sorry, Rollins and Riddle did some business at the end there. So let's get to the card via this. You want to start with that match, Seth Rollins versus Riddle? What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Matt.
I think Riddle's so over that they're going to give it to him.
They pinned him. That's what it was, and I couldn't believe that because isn't he like Roman's next opponent at this Castle? Premium live event?
Is the winner of the Drew Sheamus match is the next guy with the champion, and that's not okay. And you know that is whoever comes out of SummerSlam with the belts. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, Matt Riddle. I mean, dude, and I'm sorry. Like, I hope Triple H brings back some 2-name people, please. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know what I'm saying? Hulk
Seth
Hogan.
freaking Rollins.
Seth freaking Rollins. You know what I mean? Like Riddle, Theory. Come on,
I think
man.
because Riddle took the L tonight, he's most likely going over.
He's too over, man. People love him, and I love that they love him because Riddle represents the kind of guy that every circle of friends needs. A kind, loving hippie that will kick somebody's ass if need be. That is one of your most valuable friends, and that's who Riddle is to me. Matt Mullins is that guy for me.
Nice. You I like that. Let's work on that. Let's get that over for sure. Lashley and Theory for the US title. What do you guys think?
I think they beat the shit out of Theory again. I think that they're gonna let Bobby Lashley just destroy him.
I do think that we can prepare for something with Austin Theory, but there's Bobby Lashley just is so good.
So big.
I agree.
He's so scary. Like, that's like back here. Like, remember when wrestlers were scary? Like, you were scared to death of King Kong Bundy. You were scared shitless of Big John Studd. I'm scared to death of Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I think, having like Seth Rollins lose to Orton and then go on to cash in and spin the title around his head that time at WrestleMania, I feel like that's enough of a foreseeable part that they're going to have Austin lose, whether he's going to go over at SummerSlam or not for the belt. I mean, for the cash in. So we'll have to see. I think it's got to be Lashley too here. In that match. What about the Mysterios versus the Judgment Day? We talked about that for a while. That's what they threw in tonight.
Gotta have Dominic turn. It's a
Yeah.
Judgment Day.
Yeah, and then the crowd goes mild. The Judgment Day's dead without Edge. There's no gravitas. You know what I mean? There's no like a dude Finn Balor. Yes, I know he was a former world champion for a day or two, but like it's just like these are just some guys put together, and they're burying Rhea Ripley. Why is Rhea Ripley not? She should be fighting for all the belts.
Yeah,
she should be fighting for the U.S. championship. She should be fighting for the Intercontinental Championship.
The way they had her take Ray out a couple times tonight. I mean, Dominic come out a couple times tonight. It made me think like maybe this is the first intergender star in WWE. Man, is Rhea Ripley.
Since China,
I would go for it. Yeah, I would go for it in the modern age.
She's believable. When she turns around and you see her back, you're like, oh, this girl could kick somebody's ass.
Well, when you say believable, I know we all think about the SmackDown Women's Champion, Liv Morgan, who's going to defend against Ronda Rousey.
Are you not high on Liv Morgan, Adam, the purveyor of all that is female wrestling? Really? I thought you were going to come in here and just to the moon.
No, definitely not, man. I whatever. I can respect the work, hard work, and all that stuff, but I just don't. I'm just not sold on Liv Morgan, man. That's all.
The crowd is.
Apparently, is Matt?
And I don't know
sold?
how. How did that happen, Matt? How did she get over like that?
I don't know. The best thing that I've seen her do is on that Talking Smack is it I thought it was Talking Smack that she's interviewed on, and they asked her. What's the biggest difference of Charlotte and Ronda being champion as her? And she said, people want me to be the champ.
Oh, damn.
Nice. Well, that's good. I like that. I like that. Hey, look, she's got personality. She's got sauce, man. She's doing okay on the microphone. I just wish these guys had more of a chance to show their real personality. That's what I hope for in the post Vince era is like, let these guys work on their own promos for a little while. We'll see. What about Bianca and Becky? 1 year later, we saw Becky surprise us at SummerSlam last year, beat Bianca flat. What do you think about this match?
I want Becky over because I'm still, even though Belair is a phenomenal athlete, I think that she needs to go to Paul Heyman's school of getting on the mic.
Oh, yeah, boy.
I get disconnected every single time she grabs the mic. I'm disconnected from her. I forget how good of a wrestler she is.
She is a phenomenal wrestler. She can't talk.
Not for shit.
God, it's brutal. It's more bad local theater is what it sounds like when she's on the mic.
It feels like, I mean, even though I love it feels.
Uh-oh, we're losing Matt.
We might have lost Matt.
He'll come back. He'll be back.
Well, I'll go ahead and get my joke in while his internet catches up. But I was going to say she's not the EST. She's the EAST. The least, LEAST on the microphone. She's the least.
Matt, we lost you there for a second. Can you do that again?
Yes. I feel like I love Bruce Pritchard, and I feel like every time that she is on the mic that it's definitely contrived by Bruce and Vince sitting back there telling her to do wag her finger and go and I don't need that bullshit. I mean, you're good, be a badass, be like fuck you in so many words. You don't have to do all the finger wagging, and I hate it.
It's as bad as when Jade Cargill talks.
Well, no, bad. I don't know about that. Let's not get crazy here.
Oh, you think that Jade Cargill? You think she's worse?
I think Cargill is way worse. Yeah, I think she's way worse. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see. I think it's getting late, so you might be getting a little delusional there, Steve.
At least
I think
Jade
Bianca
Cargill
walks
looks
out.
like
Whatever we say,
$1
Bianca
billion.
walks out with the belt. I think, with the storytelling, it has to be Bianca getting her comeuppance on Becky a year later.
I think
after
Becky's
SummerSlam.
stuck in the mud, and I love her. She's one of my favorites. I think she's stuck in the mud with this big time Beck stuff.
Nobody's talking about Bailey yet. I don't know when she's due back, man. But I could see Bailey inserting herself directly in with like Becky, and like that just being an ultimate fire feud.
We know for a fact that's Triple H's girl, son. Remember NXT? The crowd singing, "Hey, we want some Bailey," and like singing, and she had multiple songs that they sang to her. She was loved. She was as beloved as any female performer ever at NXT.
All right, so
Side Pony Bailey.
Go ahead, Matt.
I was going to say Bailey has reinvented herself several times. And I think that heel Bailey is the best one of all.
She's great. Karen
And
Bailey.
that's a great way to get big time Bex back into the face character, but let her still have the attitude and then work against heel Bailey, man. I'm here for it. That might be.
I am too.
As soon as it happens, I'm good with it. All right, 2 more matches here. We should talk about the Street Profits and the Usos for the Unified Tag Champs. Jeff Jarrett is the X factor in this. I just don't know how he plays into it. What do you guys think?
I think that because of that last match being so great on the last pay-per-view, whatever it was, special
Money
event,
in the Bank.
Money in the Bank, man, it's one of those things where like I might have too high hopes because I want that again. I want to watch another match like that made me feel that. Man, that's real hard to do because that was a fucking barn burner. I don't want it to have a lot of bullshit. I want to just see motherfuckers wrestle. Jeff Jarrett, maybe somebody gets a post.
His name is Jarrett after all. So, there's going to be some kabookiness here. Come on.
I know it's true. I don't want a Gaga. I want to see Montez Ford being a star, and I want the Street Profits to win. I think it's time. Crowds, it's like, here's something I think that Triple H is going to do better than Vince because, man, Vince was a 77-year-old man, disconnected from the internet and the fans. Triple H, I think, feels more like he hears that. Like he hears this crowd is going nuts every time the Street Profits come out. Let's send them home happy. You know what I mean? What did they used to? Matt Mullins, I always think of you as when I think of like old school WWE fan. You're my friend that comes into mind. Like, do you remember when you went home happy every time Hulk Hogan almost got beat for 25 minutes, and then he hulked
as someone
up?
who wrote a letter to Hulk Hogan, Matt.
Yeah,
tell us
you
honestly.
Remember when that was good? When you felt good at the end of a match?
Oh yeah, that's you know what? I'm for it. I'm a Hogan must pose guy at the end, and that's the bottom line. Is you want the people to be happy. So I can see where you're coming from. And that's one reason that I was a Hulkamaniac for so many years.
And still is. He still is.
So,
but that's such an man. Sometimes, Jerry Jarrett in I think that documentary called Memphis Heat. He just said one time, he's like, wrestling is so simple. You get one guy that nobody likes. You get one guy that everybody loves.
Likes.
You shit on the guy that everybody loves for a while, and then he wins. And everyone goes home happy. It's so easy. It's such an easy thing. And it's easy. Street Profits over like Rover. Like the Usos don't need the belts. They don't need them.
I don't know if I was just going to say, I think they do though, because it's to me, it's almost connected to Roman's 700-day reign.
And they come
if
out
it comes to an end,
belts
then
everywhere. They come out, there's belts everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah, exactly. Belts hanging all over them when they come out. That to me is all the reason to keep it on the Usos is to just solidify that run. But we'll see. The Jeff Jarrett there's going to be some kabuki-ish thing. And that's another reason that it could go on longer is that, they've had so much screwy referee stuff that I could see Jeff Jarrett being like, I didn't see it. Or, oh gosh, I was trying to do the best thing, but I ended up messing up,
Will we see a referee strut?
He's not going to probably, but he's got to be careful because he's got. Yeah, 1,000,000%. Right. Yeah. But he's got a big match the next night. So
Can't do too much work.
I was gonna say he's gonna keep it easy, brother. So one more match here. Let's wrap it up, guys. Man, this is a toughie for me. I just don't know what to expect. Brock and Roman in the last man standing. What do you think, Matt?
I think Roman retains to set up for what they've been saying, rumoring that The Rock and Roman are at WrestleMania next year.
Austin Theory doesn't play into it.
I don't know.
I could see Theory trying to cash in. Like I'm
sold. At least
I'm sold on Theory getting buried. I'm sold on the shovel. I think that they could have Theory come out. And wasn't the first person to not cash in? Wasn't it Silence?
Damian Sandow is what I was going to say.
Damian Sandow was the first one to not cash in, and I think there's been another one since then.
There's been a couple. Yeah, they say it's like 80%. So there's been at least a few in there who
I could see Theory like cashing in and just getting beat up and beat again. Man, let me just talk on this feud. I can watch. I know that the IWC is getting sick of Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, but for my money, I'll watch them fight. And I hate that chant. I'll watch them fight forever. I love long form storytelling. AEW will have a last man standing match when someone has an incident at catering and maybe some mean text messages between the two wrestlers. And that would, need a last man standing match
next week.
Yeah, next week, and then next week, fucking barbed wire all up your ass match. But dude, this is a feud that's gone on for however many years, and it's the only way we can get this feud over with is for someone to beat someone so badly that they don't get back up. And this is years of an IWC. You all can bitch about it all you want, but man, one of these days, Roman Reigns ain't going to be around, and y'all going to be wishing he was.
I thought the same thing tonight when I was just like, man, peak Roman is not going to last forever. I hope it lasts as long as possible. Yeah, but man, it is so good right now. So good. And he earned it. We booed him.
Here's the thing.
We weren't having it a few years ago. We weren't having it.
Well, here's what I was thinking about it too. When we were back actually a couple years ago when we were just in podcast form before the YouTube channel, we had a few episodes where I know we were talking about like, we're sick of this Roman Reigns shit, man. You're just shoving it down our ass. We don't like it. Fuck it. Here's the thing. Vinnie Mac, that's his last legacy. Vinnie Mac was right. Like I remember listening to CM Punk on The Art of Wrestling with our dear boy Colt Banana, and saying that like he was doing a match with the Shield, and back then they were saying you got to make Roman look like a million, you got to give him everything, give it to, and that's how long this has been in play, 8-9 years, right? And dude, Vince, he was right. John Cena. People fucking hated that hustle, loyalty, bullshit, Limp Biscuit wannabe. Now he's a fucking star. So as much all you IWC fans out there and you AEW fucking nerds that are, trashing Vince McMahon made Hulk Hogan. He made John Cena. He made The Rock. He made Stone Cold Steve Austin. And man, Roman Reigns, he was right. Maybe we should go back. We're sorry, Vince. We knew you were right all along. Of course he was going to be the biggest star in wrestling.
Well, we're going to see what plays out this Saturday on SummerSlam. I'm going to be watching. I'm sure you guys will be watching. Be sure you follow, like, and subscribe to the YouTube channel here at the House of Kayfabe. As always, check out some of our other videos. For Steve Barker, the other Steve, and the glorious Matt Mullins, I'm Adam Harris signing off for the House of Kayfabe here on YouTube.
Glorious.